Hey everyone, welcome to the show. If you see me looking over like this to the right, it's because I'm checking my volume. This is an issue that I'm having. I am using a different recording platform right now because I'm having such an issue with it. If the video looks a little bit different today, that is why. But anyway, the Democrats had a complete and total blowout, or I should say, they blew out the Republicans on Tuesday night. It was a huge night for Democrats. The MAGA cope is off the charts, which is what I really want to share with you because it's hysterical. MAGA influencers, lawmakers, they're blaming anything and everyone but Donald Trump and besides their failed policies. And there is now a circular firing squad going on, which I'll explain. So I have some funny tweets to share with you guys. I have videos to share with you about how delusional they are. I first, though, want to quickly run through all the ways that MAGA just got completely trounced. So take a look at this. Not only did all three major candidates win, New Jersey, Virginia, New York, but the Democrats also picked up 10 seats in the Virginia State House of Delegates. So that gives them a supermajority, which allows them now to redistrict in time for the midterm. So just like California is doing, this allows them to try to counteract some of the gerrymandering that's going on in the red states, which I shared with you guys the other day. So voters also rejected Donald Trump and MAGA's push to try to unseat three liberal justices on the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. All three of them won re-election. Democratic candidates even won very obscure elections, like down in Georgia, where there were two Democrats that flipped statewide seats. These were seats on the Public Service Commission. And it's the first time that they've done this. And I don't know how long, flipping a statewide held seat. Democrats also flipped two seats in the Mississippi State Senate. Mississippi, you guys, it doesn't get more red than that. And so get them winning those seats, that ends the Republican supermajority for the first time in so many years. Also, check this out. J.D. Vance's brother was trying to become the mayor of Cincinnati, Ohio. He completely got slammed. He just took a spanking. 22% is what he had as of, I think it was Wednesday morning. That may have changed, but that was the last I checked on it. So he just took a beating in that election, and that's with his brother's endorsement. So these elections this week made two things very crystal clear. Number one, the voter regret for Trump is very real. Anyone who doubts the FAFO videos and whether or not they're legitimate, that is very real. Also, it proves that even though the Democrats have a low approval rating, it's because we're sick and tired of the weakness and the fecklessness of the old guard. It's not because we disagree with the core tenets of the Democratic Party or because we think that they're too leftist, they're too radical, they're too woke. No, that's what MAGA thinks. And the country now is looking at this shit show we have going on, and they are sending a resounding message to Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans that your hyper focus on deporting hardworking, non criminal immigrants is gross. It is cruel. It is vile. And we know this because almost all of the 2024 gains that they made with the Hispanic community were completely lost. And that was especially true in New Jersey, where Trump had huge inroads. He made huge inroads, I should say, with the Hispanic population. So check this out. I'm going to share a video with you guys. This was a Hispanic man. He was interviewed by MSNBC, and he explains in this video why he voted for the Democratic candidate last night after voting for Donald Trump in 2024. So check this out.
You voted for the Democrat, for Mikey Sherrill.
Yes.
Why did you vote for Mikey Sherrill?
I voted for Trump before, but now I look at Trump is different. The economy I not look good. That's a vote for Democrat.
You said the economy. Also, when we spoke earlier, you mentioned immigration. What is it about his immigration action?
Well, I'm very sad for this, because some people okay, but a lot of people working good. The family is the more important in the life.
So besides the obvious, the reason this is such a good thing is because Texas is redrawing their congressional maps based on their gains with Hispanic voters. So this is going to be completely skewed. Everyone tried to warn them, look at the polling. Trump is down on every issue, even on immigration in a lot of these polls. He is losing voters left and right. You're probably shooting yourselves in the foot. They're doing the same thing in Utah. They're redrawing their boundaries, and they may be shooting themselves in the foot and giving Democrats an in on a couple of seats there. But it's not guaranteed anymore that they're going to win all of these Hispanic voters that voted for Trump last year, because he's pissed them off too much, deporting their abuelita. So, we tried to warn them, and it's happening. And luckily, they are waking up. They're turning on Trump. MAGA, though, is so cocooned in their right-wing news bubbles. They have zero clue what's actually going on. On Election Day, MSNBC interviewed this one woman. I don't have the video. I couldn't find it when I went back to look for it, but I watched it live, and she was a Trump voter. And this is how delusional they are. This is how in their own bubble they are. She said that she was voting for the Republican candidate. She thought that the candidate was going to win because she said, I think people are really starting to realize how good Trump is for the country. They're clueless. They're completely clueless. If they are only watching Fear News Network, Newsmax, and OAN and listening to right-wing podcasters, they're not getting the truth. So they truly don't have any idea how bad things are right now and how pissed off people are. But if you thought that Donald Trump and the Republicans were going to now have this come to Jesus moment and realize that, maybe people are perceiving us as being racist, no, you would be wrong. Check this out. Check out what Texas Republican Congressman Chip Roy had to say. He was on Steve Bannon's show, and you're going to hear he throws in some populist rhetoric about the cost of living, but it's sandwiched between typical MAGA and Islamophobia.
Friday, I introduced legislation to take away the C3 status, the tax-free status of CARE, and any other organization affiliated or tied to terrorism. Introduce legislation to start vetting individuals. We should stop admitting people who are adherent to Sharia law. We should deport people who are adherent to Sharia law. We've got to start getting serious about this. In this election, let's be very clear. This is a wake-up call that if you don't lead with a clear vision and a clear direction, you're going to get absolutely slaughtered. That's what happened in Virginia. People are tired of not being able to afford housing. They're tired of not being able to afford groceries. The president is working on all of that. Secretary Besson is working on all of that, and it takes a couple of years to get his system fully firing. But we've got to have leadership that's going to say, we're going to take on the healthcare giants. We're going to go after the insurance companies. We're going to go after the big monopoly healthcare, hospital organizations. We're going to stand up and stop Sharia law. We're going to stop the radical Marxists who are trying to kill us. The vast network of people that are organized with Arabella, with Soros, with Gates, with the United Nations, with all of the international conglomerates that are funding these NGOs that are all being used to attack us, whether it's the Southern Poverty Law Center and Antifa, whether it's the 250 organizations that were shoving people into our country during Biden and Mayorkas, whether it's the district attorneys that are funded by the Soros regime. We're running a campaign of weakness. We're running a campaign as Republicans of trying to do the Democrat light. And you said it, and people need to know it. The Muslim Brotherhood in London and in Paris, they recognize that Dallas in particular, Texas, is the epicenter of what they're trying to do for the Islamification of not just Texas, not just America, but the Western Hemisphere.
Big time.
They're planting the seeds here, and we've got to rip those seeds up and get them out of Texas.
As you guys heard there, Bannon agreed with him. And he's also going along with Trump's BS excuse for why he lost. So Trump posted over on his failing social media site, he put out his own Cope clip or Cope, I don't know what you call it, truth over there. So he wrote, quote, Trump wasn't on the ballot and shut down were the two reasons that Republicans lost the elections tonight. I don't know why that's all in caps, but anyway, he went on to say, according to pollsters. Okay, first of all, that is not what pollsters are saying. And second, isn't he basically admitting that Republicans are losing the shutdown messaging war? Right? So anyway, Bannon's running with this excuse, oh, if only Trump had engaged more in this fight, if only he was on the ballot, they would have won, blah, blah, blah. Really, really sloppy Steve? Like, how'd that work out for you in 2020? Trump was on the ballot then. Yeah. Anyway, he is now encouraging Trump to go, number one, go after Zohran Mamdani's citizenship. And then, I mean, that right there tells you he doesn't understand Mamdani's coalition any more than Trump does. Because if he did, he would know a lot of the people who went for Mamdani, as I've said before, also voted for Trump. So you're going to be screwing over your own voters. Also, Bannon is now urging Trump's DOJ to file a lawsuit and tie up California until after the midterms, because California just completely spanked the Republicans. The redistricting initiative here in California, Prop 50, it completely sailed through. So as of Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, over 8 million ballots had been cast, and there were still 2 million more to count. But look at this. It was almost 64% of the state voted for the redistricting. This is even with their election monitors. So they can't say, oh, well, there was voter fraud. And I find it hysterical that Trump thinks that he could win California. It's just, really? Yeah, okay. People are even saying James Woods, the actor, who's like a total Trump humper, over on MAGA Twitter, oh, he should run for governor. He would wipe the floor with Katie Porter and all the Democrats and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, put the crack pipe down, and back away. In any case, the Republican Party has filed a lawsuit. They filed a lawsuit. They cited violations of the 14th and 15th Amendments. So I will definitely keep an eye on that for you guys. In the meantime, I want to share the MAGA cope that's going around and how now they're going after some of their own. So J.D. Vance posted this lengthy excuse that you see here on your screen. To sum it up, because it's too long, it just says, like, Republicans need to do a better job of turning out low propensity voters. Those are our voters now. He also said that the administration needs to focus more on what's going on here locally, or, in the United States versus what's going on around the world. He also said they need to focus on reducing I almost said inflammation. They need to focus on reducing inflation and also stop the infighting in the MAGA coalition, as if, oh, that's it. Yeah, because you guys are arguing with each other. That's why. So in other words, cope, no real insight. And MAGA influencer Benny Johnson, he also doubled down on the Islamophobia because, that went over so well in New York. That's obviously why they rejected Zohran Mamdani. So look at this. As you guys can see here, he posted photos of the Twin Towers burning in New York on 9/11. And he's saying, oh, New Yorkers forgot. They must have forgotten. how dangerous Muslims are supposed to be. And then influencers Lara Logan and Joey Manarino, they also jumped on this same bigoted bandwagon. Logan says that New Yorkers pissed on the graves of anyone who died on 9/11. And then this Manarino says, oh, Mamdani's a jihadist. And he points out that he's from Uganda. So, I guess they want to lose all of the Muslim voters they picked up last year and the black voters they picked up on top of the Hispanic voters that flipped for Trump. I mean, that's the only way I can read it. And then, as you would expect, they're already whining about the elections being rigged. So, influencer account Cat Turd, he posted this and he asked, is anyone else sick and tired of Democrats cheating in every election in every way possible? So they're already on the whole stop the steal BS because, that went so well for them. And then some woman, she posted, quote, the elections that were held yesterday were illegal, in all caps. Polls went down in Pennsylvania. Voting machines stopped working in Ohio. Bomb threats were made in New Jersey. Republicans are openly blocked from voting. America's entire system is a fraud. I would just love to ask this stable genius, why would the Democrats try to stop people from voting when their candidates were all ahead in the polls? But again, herein lies the problem with them not knowing that Democrats are ahead in the polls. When all they're being told is that, no, Trump is so wildly popular and Democrats suck and everybody hates them. And so, yeah, of course, Republicans are going to win. This is the problem. They automatically assume everything must be stolen because they don't know what is actually happening in the real world. Also, when voter turnout is high, it typically favors the Democrats. Now, that wasn't true last year, but historically that has been the case. So why would Democrats want to stop people from voting? And then another woman, a woman named Allison, has completely swallowed and internalized the MAGA misogyny. Check this out. She posted this graph showing that women overwhelmingly voted for the Democratic candidate. And she wrote, quote, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Women are the problem. Really? You're the problem? I mean, I would say, yes, I would agree with you. I would agree with you, Allison, that you are the problem, not the rest of us. And then another woman named Lainey, she proved that she is way too online in the MAGA Twitterverse because she, again, has zero clue why Republicans lost. So she posted this list of items of what she thinks the American people want. So check this out. So number one is abolish the filibuster because, yeah, that's what people are clamoring for right now. I mean, I would be cool with it because then Democrats don't have to have a super majority to pass what they want. So yeah, go for it. And then she put number two is focus on illegal immigration. I mean, talk about completely missing the point and not being aware of what's going on and the exit polls. That is the opposite of what people want right now. Number three, she put pass voter ID laws. Nobody but the MAGA right cares about that. Number four, release the Epstein list or Epstein files. Okay, I'll give her that one. Number five, eliminate foreign visas and offshoring. Yeah, because, that's just a top priority. Number six, make Scott Pressler the RNC chair. I mean, there are so many anti-LGBTQ people in their group, but you're going to make a gay man with long hair, much longer than mine, the head of the RNC, and you think that's going to work? Seven, address voter fraud. Isn't that what Donald Trump has said he's doing and he's working on? And then number 8 at the very bottom, economy/inflation. Yes, that is important, but I think that should be number 1. Anyway, you tried. You tried, Lainey. So others are blaming MAGA podcaster Candace Owens because she recently said she's not voting until they tell us who really killed Charlie Kirk. She doesn't believe that it was that Robinson kid. So anyway, MAGA minions are losing their shit over that. They're blaming her because, oh, people must not have turned out to vote because of that. It's so ridiculous. And then others are like JD are saying, oh, it's because of all this infighting and we need to come together and fight the Democrats. But it's ridiculous. There was also some MAGA cope over on Fear News Network, of course. So check this out.
Maybe there has to be a larger conversation admitting from the Republican side, look, we inherited 4 years of really bad policies. And now we're trying to refigure the American economy to bring more jobs back, to get our trade imbalances back in order. And there's going to be a little bit of short-term pain. And maybe there hasn't been an explanation about that. So people can say, hey, look, once, as you said, once the president's budget comes in online in January, that's Trump's budget. We're living off of Biden's budget right now. And things will get better. Maybe that hasn't been explained sufficiently by the candidates who are running.
And also, maybe people don't want an explanation. You just see the prices are high and say who's in power, even though they've only been in power 9 months.
So Brian Kilmeade, once again, proves he's clueless. He thinks we're 9 months into Trump's presidency, even though we're like almost 11 months into it. And it's still obviously Biden's fault, right? So just, they just need to message better, guys. They just need to talk about things. They just need to gaslight more about how great things are. And, we just have to wait till January. Like they act like in the next 2 months, there's going to be some magical thing that happens and the economy is all of a sudden going to be great. And then there were a few MAGA members who do get it. So here is what, at least part of what Republican lawmaker Don Bacon told CNN. Check this out.
I think what should alarm Republicans is the margins of victory in New Jersey and Virginia. They weren't even close. And you got to look at it. The Democrats are galvanized. They're angry at Doge cuts that were on and off the chaos. They're angry at whether it's the Guard, the National Guard being sent to our cities. I mean, a whole host of issues has galvanized the Democrats, which is somewhat normal. But I think what's concerning is a lot of our swing voters also went back towards Democrats, mainly because they don't see an improvement in the economy. And I think tariffs are part of that problem. And I think the president, by trying to assign blame on the shutdown, I think he's missing the bigger picture on what was the cause of the defeat last night. The tariff strategy has been a lot of tariffs on and off again, and it's been very unpredictable. And I think our economy has had instability because of this. And the average person, when they go to the supermarket, as you say, they've not seen an improvement.
So he gets it. And it's because he's in a state that is really being hard hit by Donald Trump's tariffs. So he's trying to wake people up. And of course he threw in the part that I didn't show you, he threw in some things that, isn't the Donald Trump is, he's great, but blah, 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 and Democrats this, Democrats that. But he knows. I think they all know secretly. But anyway, yeah, the MAGA cope is just off the charts. It's embarrassing. It's ridiculous. Like, the midterms are going to be horrific and they're going to be floored. Like it's going to hit them out of nowhere. Maybe this is good. Maybe this is like slowly easing them into reality. And I did see, to be honest and to be fair, I did see a bunch of people on Twitter, a bunch of Trump supporters or Trump voters who were responding to a tweet from Caroline Leavitt, Kim Jong-Leavitt, Trump's mouthpiece, that, he's gaslighting us. I'm not going to tune into his press conference because it's just going to be more bullshit. You know, he needs to step up and help us, blah, blah, blah. So there are some Trump voters who do get it, who do understand and are tired of it. And, you know, unfortunately, there are far more followers in the world than there are leaders. And now they're seeing, like, they had the vibe shift last year and Trump did so much better. They're now seeing the vibe shift away from Trump, and it's no longer cool. And you know, you've got all the MAGA bro, or not MAGA, but bro podcasters who are turning on him as well. And so it's just a game of follow the leader. Like, so many of these people don't think for themselves. They don't seek out information on their own. They only see what comes into their feeds. And the more they watch of that type of content, the more they're going to get that same content. And so that's how you get in this, you know, cycle, in this bubble, and you can't get out of it, and you don't get any news that conflicts with your, you know, your prior feelings and your bias. So anyway, guys, this is why I seek out information from the far left to the far right and everything in between, because I don't want to be pigeonholed. I don't want to be in a bubble and not understand what's going on across the board. So anyway, hopefully they'll wake up and start doing the same, but I don't have much faith. All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.